Hi, everyone. This is the runner group that we're hosting the 16-2 milestone kickoff video today. Per usual, I'm going to start off with the runner fleet plan for this milestone. So I'll start sharing my screen. And as a reminder, runner fleet really focuses on those people who are managing large fleets of runners. We deal a lot with our self-managed users who are bringing their own runners and providing you a better experience of management and just being able to efficiently take action on your runners. So last time we talked about a larger feature that we were working on, which is our MVC of a runner fleet dashboard to provide you a higher visibility into your fleet of runners. But we kind of had to pivot on this milestone, and we're working on coming up with an architecture blueprint of how we're actually going to implement those features that we want to do. We're dealing with a lot of data, so we're gonna try out the plan that we have right now, which is documented right here if you want to look into it more. And this should give us a good idea about a POC of what is really possible here. And then we'll continue to go from there. But we are still focusing on the same features as we wanted to before, a big one being the runner queues, which is something that is very popular and asked for. Some other things that we're working on right now on the front end are related to the new token architecture, which we've gotten a lot of feedback on that new flow so far. So thank you for providing that. Some of those things include updating our runner details page so that you can see the groups of runners that are using the same configuration. And then some other smaller things like summarizing the upgrade statuses of all of your system IDs that are in that group so that you can get a better high-level view of how many upgrades are available. And then lastly, in the UX area, we're also working on making the experience for that new token architecture as good as we can. So some things like telling users how to bring their runner online, which is if you register a runner and never get it to contact GitLab, then it will show up as never contacted. And there's really no way for we don't tell you how to fix that. So this would be something that we could work on to allow you to have less of those stale runners in your backlog. And that is pretty much it from Fleet. So I'll pass it to Gabriel to talk about Runner SaaS.
Thank you so much, Gina. Let me also share my screen. Perfect, that should work. So after an exciting last release where we have released the new Mac M1 runners for Runner SaaS, we have released the first GPU runners, and we have also upsized all of our Linux runners, which you can see here. We have now in this iteration that currently runs also upsized our storage with also no increase in cost factor. So that's super exciting because we had some feedback that some of you with larger repositories ran out of storage. So now you can build your applications up to 100 gigs. So that's exciting. Jumping in the new iteration, one thing to mark, we used to have one big iteration planning issue for all three of our groups / categories. We have now branched out because they became quite big. So for the first time, we have our own planning issue for the Runner SaaS topic, which I'm just going to talk through today. So the main focus of us is still getting macOS into GA. We have narrowed out most of the issues that we have. It's currently running smooth. There's just some few background work we still have to do. For example, CI/CD config. This is boring for our users, but an exciting thing that comes with it is that we are actually releasing images more often. So we are planning to have one latest image, for example, that we update every week, which for you is exciting because if you use that image, you will not have to run any longer installation times before your jobs. So overall, it should reduce some of your job execution times. Also, there's another thing that's exciting. We are planning to use local SSD for the macOS runners, which should improve the IOPS by a big margin. That's something that we're super excited about because we know that the EBS volume currently is a bit slow. Yeah, and all of that should push us further into GA territory with macOS. Another thing that's super exciting is we are planning to offer larger machine types, building even on top of the ones I just showed you for Linux. So we're planning to release an X-large and 2X-large machine type. These have been carryovers. I've already talked about them last iteration. We couldn't make it, unfortunately, because it was a stretch goal. But yeah, and then we have one last priority. Maybe you hear about it in CI authoring if you watch their planning video. There's a concept going on right now. It's called GitLab steps. It's still in early phases, but for that we are doing a POC to see how we can execute events and GitLab steps in the current runner architecture. Yeah, thank you so much, and heading over to you, Darren.
Hey, thanks, Stu, and thanks, Gabriel, for the handoff. Hey, really exciting stuff coming in both of those areas. So folks, I'll just briefly cover RunACore, and let's just start off with just a reminder, if you want to look at the 20,000-foot view of what we have directionally planned in RunACore for this fiscal year, the direction page is a place to start. And when you come to our direction page, you can see we have the one-year plan. And under the one-year plan, we have the main FY24 product themes. And there you can see some of the big boulders or big subcategory of themes, if you will, that we're focused on for RunACore. So under the world-class DevSecOps experience for FY24, the next runner token architecture, Gina touched on that a bit. We don't have a lot of work left in the RunACore area for that. Most of the heavy lifting has been done there. The remaining work is mostly in Gina's area on Fleet. The next big theme on the world-class DevSecOps I'll talk on and touch on in today's kickoff is next runner autoscaling. And again, just a reminder, this is autoscaling GitLab runners on public cloud instances, but more specifically virtual machines. Again, we have multiple different solutions for hosting runners on various platforms. In terms of autoscaling, we have our Kubernetes Executor, and we also have our autoscaling solution that enables you to scale GitLab runner worker agents, or if you will, on public cloud VMs. And so switching over to the 16.2 iteration plan. Major focus every iteration for us in RunACore is very clearly on bugs. We have a lot of surface area we cover in RunACore in terms of platforms that we support, in terms of self-managed customers, in terms of different use cases. So we invest a lot of time in each iteration on bugs that are affecting CI workloads for all of these different use cases. And then in terms of new features, what we hope to get through in 16.2, specifically for runner autoscaling, in 15.9, 15.10, 15.11, we released the initial feature sets related to runner autoscaling. We released the fleeting plugin, which is the plugin that enables runner autoscaling on Amazon EC2 instances in experimental. What we'd like to do is to get to a beta version of that in 16.2 so that you could feel much more comfortable adopting that, kicking the tires. The goal is we would like to get feedback as soon as possible the next 2 to 3 iterations so that we can determine if it's the right time for us to switch that to GA. So major focus in terms of new features for us in 16.2 is the fleeting plugin for EC2. My goal is to hopefully get that over to beta so we can continue the traction of getting folks to start adopting the new runner autoscaling patterns. And if folks are interested, we already have, just a quick reminder, we already have documentation for the new autoscaling solution. So if you go to the docs.gitlab.com/runner/runner autoscale, this is the new landing page doc for the new runner autoscaling solution. Gives you a high-level overview of what the solution is, and then you can go into the various executor types to understand how to use the new autoscaling solution. So RunACore, main focus, bugs, We have some R&D work, but in terms of new features, again, runner autoscaling, moving the ball forward. We would like to get EC2 plug into beta so that will set us up nicely for transitioning to GA later on this year. But that's it for RunACore. Back to you, Gina.
Thanks, Darren. Thanks, Gabriel. So yeah, we have a lot of exciting things planned for 16.2. And if you have any feedback, please feel free to reach out to us per usual. But thanks for listening.
Cheers, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.